We're going to go ahead and go through the rubric for your final project paper. So the pinnacle part of your DNP is actually putting everything together through your final paper. You've done many of the pieces so far, so the rubric itself is pretty self-explanatory, but I just want to highlight a couple of things. Number one is the model for the DNP project is ECS-Pi, so that needs to be very clearly delineated in your paper itself. And of course, the content, you need to follow the template for the structure of the paper and make sure that all the key components are included. You're going to start out with your chapter 1, which is the partnership, and you're going to describe your project, and you're going to have your evidence-based review of literature. Chapter 2, of course, is implementation. I do want to remind you that in your final paper, everything needs to be in past tense because you've actually completed your project at this point. So very carefully review your papers to make sure that everything is in past tense because the project is now complete. As you're looking at the evaluation, this is a critical section as well, because this is where you're going to really be showing how you connected with your aim. And really everything in your paper needs to tick and tie. And starting out with the pinnacle part is your aim. And from that, you're going to figure out how you're going to get to your aim, and that's the literature review. And then how you're going to operationalize that, that's your implementation piece. And then when you go into your evaluation, you're going to really look at how did you achieve your aim, how did you come close to your aim, or maybe what didn't quite match up as far as what you desired to get out of your project. So always remember, everything has to tick and tie back. So everything needs to be smooth and cohesive as far as the information in your paper so that it flows. And that's a very simplistic overview, but also remember that when you're looking at your DNP projects, it's not just a one and done thing. These projects are expansive, and this is something that is critical, is the sustainability piece. And you need to very clearly define how your project is sustainable and what systems and processes are in place to assure that your project will live on. And you will also discuss what are the next steps. There may be next pieces to your project. You need to show not only what has happened, but look at how this project impacts practice, impacts outcomes, and how will it continue to do so, or how can it be refined even further in your next step as far as elevating outcomes and improve on what you have already done. And of course, we go, as I mentioned earlier, ECS-Pi is a critical piece. You want to make sure that you have a very substantial reference list, and just remember that you will also have appendices within your project itself. And of course, you have to have documentation of IRB, permission from your organization as appendices, and you may have possibly some graphs or some documents that you will have as appendices as well. So just know when you're listing your appendices that they need to be in the order, A, B, C, D, on and on and on, as they appear in your paper, and that they need to correlate, the appendices need to correlate with your documentation in your paper. So again, double checking absolutely everything to make sure that everything ticks and ties, and that your table of contents is correct with page numbers. All of those types of things are so critical as you're doing your final paper. So let me know if you have any questions or concerns, but I do look forward to working with you as you kind of come to the crescendo of your scholarly project.